about it for a second. If sex was truly that ultimate bond that would finally glue you to that one person that you've always dreamt of and you've always fantasized about, why do all these things still happen? Hello there, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, what's up? I am Damsey and you're absolutely welcome to this crystal amazing community. So what I do is I help create content that helps solve youth problems ranging from lifestyle, mindset, beauty, and some everyday DIY projects. So I am no professional in this field of psychology or romance or relationships, but I am a young person and a millennial, most likely like yourself, or a little older or a little younger, and I have had a very good years of experience in this area of relationships as in the general term. So, and I have decided to share from my experience as a person, and also like from watching other people around me, my friends, like my close friends, both older and younger, also from studying, because this is something that I actually like to study, and I like to read this kind of stuff. I like to learn about people, to get to know why people behave the way they behave, and I am coming to you from my experience, not as a professional but as a human being just like you. So with all that being said, from my experiences and from my researches and what I have tested to be true and not so true, but from all of it, I will be giving you guys the 5 relationship myths that I believe are unwise to live by if you're about to go into a new relationship or you're already in one. I believe that this topic will be highly beneficial to you, so make sure to stick around till the end of this video. Okay, so the first myth that I believe that is very unwise for anybody to live by or believe in their hearts is, if he never gets jealous, he doesn't truly love you. Okay, so this myth is kind of very common. That is why I had to start with this, because I feel like, especially with we ladies, especially with the ladies, they have this belief that whenever maybe someone makes an attempt to maybe come take her away from a current man or something like that, and her man does not react like in a physical way that kind of displays that he's angered or he's threatened by this other man, the lady tends to feel like he doesn't love her enough, like he's not afraid to lose her, then that means he doesn't love her. This is wrong. Like it doesn't prove that he doesn't love you enough, or he is not afraid to lose you. And the reason why I believe this is that I have seen certain kind of people, like there are some certain men that it is not really their own way. They don't react physically whenever they feel threatened by another guy, maybe feeling scared that this guy might take away their girl or something. They are not the kind of guy that displays how they feel, like publicly especially, and not physically. Like they like to probably deal with it in their minds, and some of them don't even think towards that direction, that okay, that this is actually a threat, especially if it's not obvious. And I feel like it would be wrong for you to assume that it's only when a man displays that jealousy physically and in a very angry way, maybe by beating up the other guy or threatening him back, that he actually loves. Because trust me, I have seen so many situations, both in friendship and in relationships, whereby a friend, like someone else who is close to a friend, acts in such a manner. Like I could remember there was this friend I have back then in school. She was this girl that everybody loved and everybody liked to be around her and stuff like that. She was light-skinned and beautiful, and she still is light-skinned and very beautiful, by the way. But what I'm trying to say is that people like to be around her a lot. So I remember that there were a few cases where maybe another person who wasn't friends with her before was like trying to publicly, get her attention and stuff like that. She had this particular friend, she's chocolate in complexion, and she always reacted somehow to that, like to anybody that is coming to like present themselves as a friend, like anyone that is trying to extend their friendship towards her. She always reacts somehow, and we always wondered why she reacted that way. Like it seemed like she didn't want anyone to steal her friend away from her, which is probably understandable. And honestly, it went on like that to a point that a lot of us started to think of the other darker girl, that maybe she has a problem or something, because she would take it so seriously. Like if you come to borrow that fair girl's bucket or something like that, she would almost want to beat you up, that no, you have to wait until she's back. And people actually thought that that was really weird and strange. But in my mind, I just felt like, okay, she's very loyal to the fair girl, and she's nice, she's friends with her, and maybe she just has a reason for doing it. I just felt like maybe it was a kind of a bond, like she doesn't want anyone to come in between them to break that bond or whatever. I mean, the bond was so strong that you couldn't really imagine that that kind of bond could ever break or stuff like that. But to my greatest surprise today, when I recently reconnected with the fair girl, because we were friends, of course, and we've always been friends, she was telling me about her and some stuff that the darker girl said about her in the long run, which was the reason why they had to part ways. And to today, they don't even talk to each other, they don't even call each other. So, and I've also seen another instance whereby there was this friend that I had, and her boyfriend was always, like publicly jealous of other guys coming to see her at her lodge. He gets violent about it and stuff like that. And till today, they're not even together. Like they're not together at all. After all that display of jealousy, the point I am trying to drive at is that people publicly displaying that they are jealous or they feel threatened by another person that is coming to approach you or take you away or befriend you or whatever it is, they don't necessarily love you. Like that doesn't prove that they love you. Honestly, from experience and from what I've seen, most of the time, people who behave like that are people who are low self-esteem and probably have some deep down personal issues that is just within them. This is the reason why I believe that it is totally wrong for you to think that until you see your guy displaying that jealousy, complex in him, and displaying it publicly, especially, that is when you can know that yes, he is afraid to lose you. And when it shows that he's afraid to lose you, it proves that he loves you. It is just very wrong for you to think towards that direction, because honestly, 4 out of 10, I would say it is usually not what you think. Yeah, the most jealous people are not the most loving. Yeah, personally, that is what I think. So, and the thing about low self-esteem people is that they haven't yet find themselves completely enough to love themselves. Some of them don't even love themselves at all. They kind of go into this relationship stuff as a means of getting validation for their own existence. The truth is, if someone hasn't yet found the art of loving their own selves, there is no way that they can love someone else. So please, if you have that mindset, just let go of it, because it is not real. Some people naturally don't display jealousy like that. It doesn't prove that they don't love you enough. That is just how they are. It's just a matter of who your partner is. So you need to get to understand the kind of guy that your partner is. Is he the type that would display his own jealousy, or is it the type that would rather call you and talk to you about it So you need to understand that before you go about assuming that, okay, because he did not, he did not defend you against this other guy that was making a move on you, at on you, that was making a move at you. I'm not sure which one it is, in public, and he did not like display whatever, and that means that he doesn't love you, he's not afraid to lose you. No, girl, you're wrong. And then the second myth that I believe is totally unwise for anyone to live by is that happily ever afters exists. Whew, that's a very hard one. I honestly don't believe that as a guy or as a girl that you can just sit down in your crib or in your little world, trusting on your beautiful face, your accomplishments, your banging body, and believing that someday, somehow, without you going out, without you making any move, any positive changes in your life, because definitely you can't be perfect, and you're sitting down in your world believing that someday, somehow, your Prince Charming or your Princess Beauty is gonna come right at your doorstep and sweep you off your feet. It doesn't happen like that these days. What I'm trying to say is that there are some persons who just naturally believe that they're already perfect and they already have that dream job. They already have, the body, the skills that they need to have a partner and make a partner happy, that they do not need to make any active effort to form a relationship and do all it takes to make it work. And honestly, it is the opposite, because you need to work, you need to make constant efforts, you need to there will be so much that will go on, and it is until you're able to go through all these processes and you're able to come out of it successfully or victoriously that you can get that happily ever after. And many of the times that happily ever after isn't exactly like the way it's been painted in all this fairy tale stories. So if you're definitely one of those people that think that whenever you're ready to date, you're just gonna just stay in one place, and then everything that you feel you deserve as a beautiful person or as a handsome hot guy is just gonna come to you and just grace you with that happily ever after ending. No. And so the third myth that I have for you guys is opposites attract. Now think about that for a second. We all know that this is one of the most common myths out there, especially amongst the much younger generation of people nowadays, and I honestly don't blame them. I think it's because a good number of them are being influenced by this movie industry standard of relationships. I mean, in the movie industry, you see a lot of opposites, two persons from completely different worlds coming together and actually living happily ever after. And honestly, I have come to realize that this happens a lot, quite alright, but it doesn't end up the way people think it does. It doesn't always end up that way. And I think that it will be completely wrong or completely unwise for you to just base all your belief that, okay, if you can just find someone that is completely opposite of who you are, that the person will compliment you. But if truly it is the way you think it is, why do we have cheating scandals, and why do we have boyfriends beating up their girlfriends or vice versa today? I mean, think about it. All those opposite, it doesn't, there is definitely something wrong somewhere. And this is where my own personal belief comes in. I have personally studied this pattern, and I have come to understand that it is like most of the opposites that end up together forever, like in that great wonderful relationship that everybody envies and talks about. They have something more deeper than just being from opposite worlds, like different personalities. I personally think that the bond between the two of them does not occur from how great their sex life is, or how fun their relationship is, how much gifts they give to each other and stuff like that. The bond comes from how well their inner core value and beliefs and personality merges together. Yeah, and that is a whole new different topic. Comment down below if you want me to make a video based on how opposites people attract and last for a good number of years. Like I was saying, the bond comes from their inner core values and core beliefs and core personalities, like how well it matches together, because those core values and personalities and beliefs is what defines who a person truly is on the inside, and that is what will predict who the person will become on the long run. So I believe it would be very wrong to think that if your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your partner in general is, completely opposite from you, that there's a good chance that the relationship will last. Yes, that might be true, but there's even a higher chance that the relationship may not last. So what I would advise is that if you're about to think of dating someone who has an opposite personality, almost completely different from who you are, I think it's best that you try to understand the person's core beliefs and core values. And of course, I would like to talk more extensively on this. If you want me to talk more extensively on core values, core beliefs, and core personalities, and how opposite couples bond and form a long-lasting relationship, please make sure to leave a comment down below, and I will definitely make a date for that video. And so the first myth that I have for you guys is, if the relationship was meant to be, it would just work out. The truth is, relationships take constant effort and work and a lot of patience in order to grow and flourish into that perfect pre-wedding photo match that we all see on social media, including the 40 years wedding anniversary, all that. And it's just so sad that in this generation of ours, that whenever a person, maybe someone who's in a relationship, starts to sense that their partner is starting to act all weird and distant, they quickly tend to assume that the relationship is just not gonna work. It's just so sad. And the thing is, when stuff like that happens, which it does in every great relationship that you can think of, it happens. There's a point in every great relationship where when things just gets weird, maybe one of the couples is beginning to, maybe is a little bit more quiet than they usually are, but at that point, whenever you know that you value the person you are in the relationship with, what you do is you draw their attention to the awkwardness and talk it out and settle it. It's much more better and healthier than keeping it in your mind, and even worst of all, assuming that this relationship is just not going to work out, man. Like he no longer compliments me, he no longer pays attention to what I wear, he doesn't buy me stuff, he doesn't take me out, he doesn't do whatever. It does not mean that the relationship has to end, because it happens. This happens in all relationships, trust me. Even the greatest of relationships, they've gone through this stage. It is a normal thing. If you're expecting that you're going to enter into a relationship and you're never going to once experience that awkward long silence and all those awkward moments where your partner doesn't say anything or this or that, you're very wrong, because it happens, and it happens in all relationships. And if you continue to think that it's an obvious sign, an obvious signal that the relationship is not just going to work out, that mindset will most likely affect the rest of your relationships after that relationship and after that relationship, and on until it might just be too late for you to get your life back together again. That is not a very good and healthy mindset to carry on or to believe so strongly in your heart. And so, as for the last and definitely not the least on my list of myths that are not wise to live by, is the quicker you have sex, the quicker you bond, or sex is the ultimate bond in a relationship. Okay, so I am going to try as much as I possibly can not to go religious about this particular myth, because it is a very sensitive and a very, very serious myth that I have seen a lot of people, and I really say this with all manner of honesty. I have seen a lot of people believing that this is actually true, that sex is what creates that ultimate bond that keeps the relationship forever, and that sex is what brings that ultimate chemistry, that goddess level admiration that your boyfriend gives to you, like that way where he worships you and stuff like that. The truth is, you don't want to go into a relationship believing that that is actually true, because think about it. Just take a moment and think about it for a second. Yes, if sex was truly the great glue that gets that girl you've been dying to get, that finally puts her in that little shell, that little world you've managed to build and decorate with your little flowers and your lovely flatters and your beautiful words, professional poetry. Why is it that we still have ultimate celebrity breakups and divorces? Why are they still happening? Why do we still have cases of boyfriends beating up their girlfriends, or husbands beating up their wives, and even down to the extreme where we hear of cases where a husband kills his wife, or the wife kills the husband? Why? Like, think about it for a second. If sex was truly that ultimate bond that will finally glue you to that one person that you've always dreamt of and you've always fantasized about, why do all these things still happen? Ask yourself that question, really. Because if you look at the couples that have, lasted long, they lived long till death do them part and all that. If you look at them and compare them to some of the relationships and even the marriages that have broken off in the past, if you look at and compare these two things, we are both certain that they have sex in common. So why do these ones break up? Why do they end up insulting each other, cursing, and even killing each other to that point? And these other people survive, but they're still having the same sex, right? So think about it. Doesn't it tell you that there is something different? Something that is definitely different from sex, that keeps a couple together for however long you imagine in your mind that a relationship can last for. So I would personally say that it is completely unwise for someone to go into a relationship believing that, okay, yeah, once the sex has happened, then you finally glued this person to yourself forever. It is much more better and safer, and I believe wiser, to go into a relationship with an open mind that silently screams, I want to get to know this person on a different level, rather than the sexual level that we all, well, most of us anticipate somehow. And if you see that you don't vibe that way with a person, especially if you want it to be a relationship that will last, a relationship that you want to take very seriously, you're not really interested in getting to know the person aside the whole sexual stuff, then the truth is the relationship has already ended before it's even begun. But if you vibe or you believe that what you truly desire deep down is to get to know this person that you're about to go into a relationship with all honesty, you want to get to know them on a much more deeper level, to discover them and get to know how they think, why they think the way they are, and stuff like that. And chances are that the relationship is going to last longer because your mind is open and you're ready to understand things, and you're ready to concentrate on who the person is on the inside, who the person is without the sex. And I believe that this will lead to a much more better, happy ending. And even if it doesn't really work out at the end, I believe at least the breakup will not be a toxic or like a very mentally depreciating breakup and stuff like that. It will be less messy. Alright, so if you have an uncommon or a very common myth, that is relationship myth, that is unwise for anyone to live by, please feel free to comment it down below, because it can actually save a brother or a sister's life from making one of life's greatest choices. So please feel free to do that, and I will definitely like it and I'll definitely read the comments. Alright, you guys, we have come to the end of this video and I hope you all enjoyed it. And if you did enjoy it and learn something from it, please make sure you don't forget to give me a very genuine thumbs up. Share this video with anyone you know it will be highly beneficial to. You could be saving someone from making a very dangerous and serious choice in their life right now by sharing this video. And also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and do not forget to turn on my post notification icon so that you can be notified when next I upload my next video. So thank you very much for stopping by to watch this video up until the end. Make sure you have a wonderful, great, lovely day, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.